Hello, today is Friday, June 11th, and today was Big Friday. So I did 5 singles on the snatch five singles at 80 kilos, and then 5 singles on the clean and jerk at 105. So all relatively light. And then afterwards I did some Panda Pulls for the first time, to address some of the issues that came up in the snatch, and then finished off with some accessories, just pull-ups and GHD Sit Ups, which with the GHD Sit Ups, that was actually the first time I've done core in a very, very long time, and they were hard, so I know I'm probably going to feel it tomorrow, but anyways, so the idea, I guess, behind starting at these particular weights for the snatch and the clean and jerk, I think the sort of long-term plan, well, not relatively long-term, I guess, given that my meet is in 8 weeks, in 60 weeks, oh my goodness, I can't speak. In the next 6 weeks, we'll sort of try to bump up a few kilos every week, and then by the end of the 6 weeks, hopefully be up by 20 to 30 kilos on both the snatch and the clean and jerk. And then the week after that, I'll likely max out and then taper for the meet. And then, so that's the sort of plan. And then specifically with how snatches went today, so that earlier sort of warm up at 50, 50 is obviously super light, but you could sort of see there the first sort of problem, I guess, that came up was there just being a lot of lateral movement. Sort of my hips bump the bar in front, like way out in front, and then it sort of has to curl all the way back, like a huge sort of question mark. Ideally we'd like to sort of keep that profile a little bit skinnier, keep that bar path a little bit more vertical. But this was sort of a recurring problem I had today that got better by like the 4th set, but was still a problem through the working sets. And that right there also was just didn't feel that good in that regard. And so I usually jump straight from 70 to 80, but I wanted to sort of, I guess, do a warm up before jumping to 80, but without having to retake it, I guess. I made that jump from 70 to 75 to 80. I also had a decent amount of trouble finding my start position. Like you can see, like on a lot of these reps, my lower back is sort of still in flexion. And then there on that second set, I think I sort of had too many things going on in my head, which ended up with me not really thinking about, not being able to execute on any of the things I was thinking about. And so I sort of just extend and dive under and try to wedge myself underneath. And so that was the reason for the fail. And so, so all sorts of different problems, like a lot of lateral movement, sort of diving under instead of maintaining control, and then not being able to start, or not being able to find a solid start position off the ground. I don't know. Ideally, like at this weight, I would have really liked to have had a lot more solid and consistent technique, just given that it's relatively light. But it is what it is. But I think certainly a factor is the sort of change in environment. Like at home, I was alone and I had my headphones, and I was just like, being in that environment allowed me to focus a lot more, I think, than I was able to today. Certainly, like I can't like blame today not going super great on that, but I definitely do think it's something that I need to adjust to, and am not fully adjusted to yet. But it's certainly like the trade-off obviously is that not being alone and being with Aaron lets me get feedback in between the sets, which is super helpful. Being able to like focus better in this environment, I think will in the next few weeks will help a lot. But yeah, so that's how snatches went. And then clean and jerks were a bit more solid. The cleans at 105 are very easy. That I didn't really have any trouble with that, except for one rep at one of the working sets that was just it was just a little weird. But other than that, yeah, the cleans were really easy. And then with the jerk, I'm thinking about timing, working on timing, like making sure I'm fully extended through the drive before I get into that split position, because I do have a tendency of sort of rushing to get into that split position, as well as a better dip and drive. Making sure that my dip is a little bit shorter to prevent the lateral movement of my hips, as well as being a little bit quicker in tempo without cutting anything short, while being patient. And yeah, I think clean and jerks were pretty solid, I think, today. At least a little bit better than the snatches. But yeah, I think a little bit less scooping forward of the hips than I guess normal. But so here's my last warm up at 100. Yeah, pretty solid. I do have a tendency though to be pretty forward and have my weight more on my front foot. But it's not too bad. And yeah, so cleans are easy. Not really an issue. Yeah, that was a little weird. I think it got in front of me a little bit. The bar went a little bit forward, and so I think I just sort of caught it weird. But because I got plenty of height, it was just I think I sent it a little bit too forward. I think another thing too is that yeah, that one was a little bit better. I just sort of rushed to get out of the split to recover the feet, but otherwise it was pretty good. Yeah, one thing I noticed is that in the dip today, on some reps, I get into the right position at the bottom of the dip, but to get there, the bar travels forward, which tells me that the bar is a little too far back when it's resting on my front rack before the dip. And so I think I want to get that dip a little bit more vertically up and down, and yeah, less lateral movement. Which I think once I noticed that, it got a little bit better. And then yeah, so that was the sort of weird clean that I was talking about earlier. But I think this jerk was my best jerk. Yeah. And then this is the last set. Yeah, easy clean. Yeah, not bad. I think the one right before was a little bit better. This one I was pretty forward, but otherwise, I mean, yeah, it's light, so it should be pretty easy. But yeah, feel pretty good about that. And yeah, moved on to Panda Pulls, focusing on sort of. So yeah, this set was the first, I guess, set of Panda Pulls I've ever done, but I was just thinking about getting my elbows high and making sure I'm staying tall and making sure I'm sort of applying constant upward tension into the bar. Yeah, and these felt good, and I sort of could tell immediately off the bat as I was doing these that these are going to help a lot with the problems that I was having earlier. And weirdly, also, one thing I noticed is that I was, though I was struggling with finding my start position in the snatch off the ground earlier, my start position, I was finding it way better here, and it looked and felt a lot better here. And I've gone into those positions consistently before, so it's something I know I'm capable of. Just, I guess, don't really know why I wasn't doing that earlier, but it is what it is. Next week will be better for sure. So yeah, here, yeah, focusing on all those things that I mentioned earlier. And then here's the last set. I think here the first rep was the best one, and then the other two are not as good. Yeah, like Aaron says right there, not as good. But yeah, I mean, not bad for first day with the Panda Pulls. Like I said, I can tell they're definitely going to be very useful. But yeah, that was this week's Big Friday, the first of many at this gym. But next week will be better. I will make sure of that.